All right, so we're going to talk a lot about the success in commercial real estate, what that looks like. We're going to talk about motivation. We're going to talk about Lee and Associates, this company that you're with. What makes us different? What makes us unique? We're going to build a solid group dynamic. Please don't leave immediately afterwards, because I want to make sure we get a group picture of everyone, because hopefully 31 weeks from now, we'll all still be here, right? I don't want any of you dropping out until you're completely trained. And then we're going to talk a lot about the sequence. I believe understanding the company, understanding the origin, understanding why we are who we are, how we've become who we've become. I think that's very important to know. And I'm going to kind of delineate some differences and some things that make us unique compared to Boyd or Cushman & Wakefield or C.B. Richard Ellis and so. So Bill Lee was an executive with the 3M company, and he spent some time with Xerox. He had a pal named Mel Koich. He also had a pal named John Vogt. He had grown up with a guy named Al Fabiano, who was one of the founders of your Riverside office. He was pals with a guy named Larry O'Brien. I think they'd grown up in Santa Monica together. And so Bill went to work for a company called Grubb & Ellis back in the late 60s. Bill was a very, very competitive guy, one of the nicest men you would have ever met. Anyone meet Bill? Ever at a summit or anything like that? Anyway, so Bill was incredibly competitive, and he was historically the number one producer in the Irvine office, Newport Beach office of Grubb & Ellis. Very, very competitive. And there was a guy in the office, his name was Blair Armstrong. Blair went on to become the Armstrong of O'Donnell, Brigham, and Armstrong. They were very successful developers. Well, Bill and Blair used to go toe-to-toe to see who was going to be number one in the office. To the point that if Bill secured a 35,000 square foot listing, and he knew Blair had a 35,000 square foot tenant, he wouldn't tell Blair about the deal, because he didn't want Blair to book the fee. Bill wanted to find the tenant and book the whole fee. Anybody like that today? I know you're not that way, Steve. You're a cooperative guy. So Bill looked around one day and he goes, you know, this is odd that we have a company that creates competition internally that doesn't promote cooperation. It's nuts that I have a 35,000 foot listing and someone else has a 35,000 foot tenant, and we're not incentivized to share that information. So what Bill created is he created a model whereby cooperation within the office was encouraged. So now if I've got a 35,000 square foot listing, Hudson's got a 35,000 square foot tenant, I'm incentivized to tell him about that. And why do you think that is?
Keeps the money
Keep it in the family.
Thank you. He shared the profit. And now that that profit is shared, I have an incentive to then share that information within the office. He then looked around and said, well, yeah, that's great. That'll work within the office, but how do I incentivize someone in Orange to do a deal in the city of Commerce, or the city of Riverside, or the city of Irvine? How do I encourage that to happen? And what he came up with was very elegant. And it was, I'll allow people to invest in those new offices. So now they'll have an incentive, they'll have a vested interest in that office's success. So when I started in 1984, we had two offices. We had the El Toro office, which is now the Irvine office, and we had my Orange office. Shortly thereafter, the Newport Beach office came into being. And then I want to say the next one was probably Ontario in '87, and it's kind of grown from that. So from one office in 1979 to well over 80 offices today, and approximately 1,800 agents. So we're international. We've got offices in Canada, we've got an affiliate in the UK, in Europe. So we are definitely a global company, all based upon that initial spirit of cooperation that Bill forged with our company in 1970. This training is built around what I call the sequence. And if any of you have read my book, Sequence, Steps of a Real Estate Transaction. You source, you evaluate, you qualify, you get it under control, you execute it, you negotiate, close it, you get paid, and you expand it. That's the sequence. But we also have a sequence of what I call a sequence of our career. Decisions that we make, where we live, specialty we choose, office we choose, who we choose to love. All those things are foundational to building a career, and especially a career in commercial real estate. So that's what we're going to focus on today. This book, The Sequence, which is a book I just published, is all about the origin story, the decisions I made that created a commercial real estate career, the sequence, and then the legacy play at the end. But I always had a passion for helping young people, new people in the business be successful. And so that's my goal. So let me make a recommendation that going forward, we all use some form of digital calendar. I just think that's critical. And I don't care if it's Outlook or the cool thing about a CRM called RealNext is RealNext and Outlook talk to one another. So if I get an invitation and I accept it, it automatically dumps it into RealNext. So I've got RealNext on my phone. I've got introduce Dave Mudge, who's the original Dave Mudge. Dave is one of my dear friends and is a shareholder in the Riverside office.
You can tell I'm exploring a career in commercial real estate.
He is. He is. And I feel quite honored that Dave's here because he could be in this position and I could be in that position just as easily. He is a very fine man, a dear friend, a consummate professional, and I'd encourage everyone to get to know him. How's that, Dave Jr.?
That's great.
Okay. You would agree with all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, deal. All right. So